Alright farmers, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about weeds. Now these are pesky little blighters and they're going to have an impact on the yield of your harvest if you leave them unattended. So what we've got here, if you look on there, field 32, we've got a full field of weeds. There's no crop in it, so it is just as it is. So what you'll have with weeds, there's three growth stages. You got the little ones, the medium ones, and then these big tall ones. Now there's three ways of dealing with this depending on what you're doing on your farm. So what we've got here, we've got a mulcher, we've got a weeder, and then we've got a herbicide sprayer. So we'll go through each one and we'll see what they do. So we'll jump on this tractor. We'll hook up the mulcher first, because with this, if you got weeds in your field when you got a crop in there, it's just going to mulch the crop back in. So this is going to be a first process, shall we say, of your field before you start sowing. So we'll turn it on, we'll lower it down, and this will get rid of all of the weeds regardless of the growth stage. The mulcher will get rid of everything, and when I mean everything, I mean the crop as well. So that's why I say do this before you actually sown anything, because otherwise you're just going to lose your crop as well. So that's the mulcher. So you see it's left some stones, but all the weeds are gone with that one. So then what we've got with the second one is the weeder. So we'll hook that up. And this is where the bit of a difference comes in between the weeder and the sprayer. Right, there we are. So we'll unfold it. This is a rather big one. It's the biggest in the game. I think it's like 15 meters or something like that. Okay, so we'll lower it down. We'll go along. So what you'll see with this, it's taking some of the weeds out, but not all of them. So what this will do is it will get rid of the weeds when they're in their first growth stage. So if you've got big weeds like we have in this field, it's not going to touch them. It's only going to touch the smaller ones. And you might be able to see, or you might not, because there's quite a lot of weeds in this field. But what you can do with this, you can use this on a field that's got a crop in. So if you're halfway through your growing stages on your seeds, on your wheat or whatever you're doing, you can use this and it won't touch the crops, unlike the mulcher. But it will only do the weeds in its first growth stage. So if you're in a situation like we've got here now, where we've got the medium to large growth stage on the weeds, it's not going to touch them at all. So what you're going to need to do with this is get yourself a sprayer and some herbicide. So we'll unfold this and we'll give it a little spray. Now this is also a big one. I think this is 24 meters on this one, so you get a good spread width on it. It's holding out even more. Right, okay. Right, so we're ready to go. So we'll turn it on, and as you can see there, it's not getting rid of the weeds like the mulch did in that sense, because the mulch just puts them back into the ground. It's turning them brown. So have a look. There we are. Right, so we got brown weeds here, normal weeds here. So the herbicide is killing off the weeds. So it will still leave them there, but it won't affect your yield, which is always a good thing. There is one other thing with the herbicide. According to Giants, it has a slight detrimental effect to your yield of your harvest. Now what that slight detrimental effect is going to need a bit of testing, and we'll do that in another video, because it could be a little bit, it could be a lot. We'll have to find out on that one. But for now, That's the weeds dealt with. So we had the field full of weeds. You can mulch them in with a mulcher at the start of your process. You can use the weeder if they're in the first growth stage, and then you can use the sprayer if they're anything after that. So that's weeds. That's how to get rid of them. That's how to keep your harvest yield up. So drop it in the comments below which one you're thinking of using. I prefer the herbicide one, to be fair, but if you're going down an organic road with your role play or whatever, you might not want to be spraying chemicals on your crop, so it's entirely up to you. But that's the one I'd probably go for. But for today, now we've dealt with the weeds, that's it from me, and I'll catch you in the next one.